Alright, so I've had some comments on my thoughts on our current president. Well, I try to keep my mouth shut. I'm here on my Facebook, and someone has so kindly given me well, it's one of those things you pass on, please read this, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to read it to you because I found it to be extremely interesting and factual, and maybe it will give you an idea on how I feel about the current state of our union. It'll be my State of the Union address. Alright, so I'm going to start reading, and my reading isn't the greatest, but hey, it is what it is. I don't read, well, I do read a lot, but alright, an economic professor at a local college made a statement that he had never failed a single student before, but had recently failed an entire class. That class had insisted that Obama's socialism worked, and that no one would be poor, and no one would be rich, a great equalizer. Well, that's Obama's idea anyway. The professor then said, okay, we'll have an experiment in the class on Obama's plan. All grades will be averaged and everyone will receive the same grade, so no one will fail and no one will receive an A. Substituting grades for substituting. See, I told you my reading wasn't good. Substituting grades for dollars, something closer to home and more readily understood by all. After the first test, the grades were averaged and everybody got a B. The students who studied hard were upset, and the students who studied little were happy. As the second test rolled around, the students who studied little had studied even less, and the ones who studied hard decided they wanted a free ride too, so they studied little. The second test average was a D. No one was happy. When the third test rolled around, the average was an F. As the test proceeded, the scores never increased as bickering, blame, and name-calling all resulted in hard feelings, and no one would study for the benefit of anyone else. To the great surprise, all failed, and the professor told them that socialism would also ultimately fail because when the reward is great, the effort to succeed is great. But when the government takes all the reward away, no one will try or want to succeed. Could not be any simpler than that. Please pass this on. These are possibly the 5 best sentences you'll ever read, and all applicable to this experiment. Well, I thought, when I got to this point, I'm like, God, I ain't going to read these next 5 sentences. You know what? Because, I didn't think that they would ring true. I thought they would be kind of like dilute the whole thing that I just read. But I did. I read them anyway, and I'm going to read them now. You cannot legislate the poor into prosperity by legislating the wealthy out of prosperity. That doesn't work. My thoughts on that sentence are that the wealthy provide jobs for, say, the less educated or less wealthy or, less prosperous. You get out what you put in. I mean, if you put in a hard day's work, you should get a hard day's pay back. Me being a farmer, sometimes it's not that way. I mean, I work really hard, and sometimes it's months and months before I can reap my benefits, And when people steal from me, it really pisses me off. And that's how I feel about that first one. If you legislate poor people into prosperity, you're stealing from the people that actually get up off their ass and go to work. Okay, sentence 2. What one person receives without working for, another person must work for without receiving. Again, diminishing the drive to do more and do better because you're pulling it away from us. Number 3, the government cannot give to anybody anything that the government does not first take from somebody else, which, again, is, in my words, not a lawyer's words, it's theft. I mean, that is theft. Higher taxes on wealthy people. We already pay higher taxes. I'm not wealthy. Rich and wealthy are 2 different things, but we'll just leave that to something else. I think I'm wealthy. I don't make millions of dollars, at least not in one year. but I do make a pretty decent living, and yes, I am affected by these tax increases. Number 4, you cannot multiply wealth by dividing it. That does not work either. And number 5, when half of the people get the idea that they do not have to work because the other half is going to take care of them, and when the other half gets the idea that it does no good to work because somebody else is going to get what they work for, that is the beginning of the end of any nation. Okay, I agree 100% on those 5 sentences. 100%. Free isn't free. If you're receiving food stamps and you can work, I'm sorry, you're a lowlife. If you're, just sitting there collecting a check from the government because maybe you hurt yourself 6 years ago, but it healed and you're perfectly capable of getting off and going to work and doing something, yeah, you're a lowlife. You know what? If you're there and you can't buy cigarettes with food stamps, but you can buy the makings like the roller and the papers and the tobacco, and you're using that to buy, food stamps to buy that, again, you're a lowlife. When I was a kid, food stamps were an embarrassment. You got up in the morning and you went to school, and there was a few kids that had food stamps when I went to school. We didn't pick on them. But they were embarrassed. They were not, and I can tell you right now, the very person that was on food stamps, I know he does not approve of the way the system works. Just because, I'm not going to say it, but just because I know for a 100% fact, food stamps should be an embarrassment. It shouldn't be a way of life. It should be an absolute embarrassment. Take pride. Get up in the morning. Go to work. Take pride. If you are not that intelligent that you can't figure this out, food stamps should be a 6-month option. You should be able to do something in 6 months. Whether it's go pump gas or go get a job at ShopRite bagging food for somebody. I mean, ShopRite pays. Or any Food Lion or Publix or wherever you're from in the country. Food Lion, I guess, yeah, Publix, AMP, ShopRite, those places. Walmart, excellent place to go get a job. You have benefits there. The benefit to yourself is you get a steady check, you get health benefits, you get a 401k, and you don't have to be embarrassed to go buy food with food stamps because you don't need them. I know somebody right now that wants to take care of elderly people. And instead of going and getting their certification so that they could do this legally instead of just on the sly, because you need a CMA, CNA, Certified Nursing Assistance Certificate. It's free. The government gives it to you. All you have to do is go and do it. You go to, say, a nursing home, and you do the work, and then you study. They give you a book. They give it to you for free. You get a book, and you study that book. Then you go and you take the free test and at a government facility. I don't even know what the heck they call the thing. But you go and you take your test, and if you pass it, you get a nice little card that says, hey, I'm certified to wipe an old person's rear end and take care of them. You can change sheets and other stuff, but you can't actually touch them where it needs to be a sanitary situation. So, instead of going and do that, they're making enough money off of welfare and food stamps that no need to. So anyways, that's my stand on the direction that this government's going in and our country's going in. You cannot take from working people, or, let's say, they're taken from working people too. I mean, all you Obama voters out there that thought that somebody else was going to be paying for your health care and you voted for that shit, well, you're just as dumb as a box of rocks. You're paying for it. Because if you don't have it, you're going to be paying that tax. And it's like insane. It's a lot of money. And the America that I grew up in we were free. We had the choice to have health care or not. We didn't have to. Why is the government stepping in, a free nation, by the way, stepping in and saying, hey, you know what? You have to, or you're going to be penalized. That's not freedom. The freedom to carry a firearm. Well, if you're not a nut job and you can be responsible, I don't say just give everybody a gun. I say once a year, you go down, you qualify, you take a little written test. Do you feel like shooting anybody? Do you feel like whatever? And you have to be able to hit a target at 25 yards, which is nothing. You can hit a target with a bottle of calcium here at 25 yards. 20 rounds out of, say, 50. You hit that target within, the kill zone. Take an aptitude test, and off you go. You get to open carry. Concealed carry is a little funny. I think an open carry permit, if somebody's coming at you, all you have to do is, hey, look what I got. It's right here. Do you really want to start this fight? Because I'll end it. That's what I feel on guns. I think that we should all have the right that we were given when our forefathers forged the Bill of Rights. The Second Amendment to the Bill of Rights was we have the right to keep and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed. It's like 2 sentences. And why our politicians feel that they have to interpret 2 sentences, they're fucked up. I'm sorry. There's just something wrong with these people. Shall not be infringed means you can't molest it. You can't tamper with it. We have the right. Now, like I said before, if there's a known crazy person, he shouldn't have a gun. A felon, forget it. Misdemeanors, not petty theft, but I mean repeated speeding tickets and crap like that, let them have a gun. Who cares? But anyways, that's my rant. It's 11 minutes or 12 minutes long. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed what I read to you. And yeah, thanks for watching.